With everything going on in the world today, there couldn't have been a better time for a movie like this to have come out. Let's talk about it. The Creator is set in the distant future where AI and parts of humankind are at war with one another. The story follows John David Washington's character Joshua as he is tasked by the US government with finding the hidden AI weapon that has the power to end the war. So, without burying the lead, I've got to tell you that I've been looking forward to this movie coming out for a long time. Ever since the first few trailers came out at the beginning of the year, this movie has always looked interesting. I wasn't ever able to place how I felt about it, but I just knew that the concept and the creators behind this movie definitely piqued my interest. This movie is directed by Gareth Edwards, who has directed movies in the past like Rogue One, the 2014 Godzilla, and Monsters. When I saw that this movie's budget was $80 million, it blew my mind. The amount of visual effects and the shot work, it's just everything that was put into this movie you would not anticipate for something of around 80 million to pull off. And I'm here to tell you that Gareth Edwards pulled it off. This movie also does a really good job with exploring that character dynamic between a parental figure and a child. Similar shows or movies that come to mind are Logan or The Last of Us. In that same regard, you have that dynamic between John David Washington's character Joshua and Madeline Univoyle's character Alfie, which, as insane of an actor as John David Washington is, I do believe, like Madeline Univoyle's, stole this movie. Her acting capability for being a child and being able to express the emotion she expressed in this movie blew my mind. I also went in to check and see if she's done any kind of previous work in the past. This is her first acting credit. That should tell you something. This child, her range is amazing, and I'm looking forward to see where she's gonna go from here because I don't know. I was at a loss for words. Another thing I wanted to bring to light is the overall story, the script of this movie, and it feels so lived in. Whether it's the different locations, the different settings, the character dynamics between the different characters, this movie does a really good job with pulling you into this world and not making you feel like you're an outsider looking in. And this story does clock in at a little over 2 hours long, which I feel like went by really quick, and I think that has to do with the different kinds of messaging that was introduced in this movie, the different plot points, which I feel like most of the messaging did come through effectively, but a lot of the story beats or things that were discussed, I feel like they were touched on once, but not touched on again, and so this movie, I feel like, could have gone probably a little bit longer just to kind of flesh out those points that weren't ever touched on again. Just because it makes me want more of that world, of that story that I feel like wasn't fully addressed. And because I felt like this story was slightly condensed, some of the character choices towards the end, I didn't fully believe. I went along with it because it was just moving very quickly, and I was there for it at the time, but just thinking back on it, some of the choices some of these characters make aren't as believable, but I feel like if you gave it another 15-30 minutes to explore those, it would have worked for me. And with all that being said, I will say that this movie is by no means a bad movie. In fact, it's one of my top 5 of the year, if not my favorite. It's been a crazy year for movies, both good and bad. But this movie had everything I was expecting it to have, and even more so. Let me know what you guys thought if you have seen this movie. If you haven't, go to the theater, check it out, come back, let me know what you guys thought, because I want to see what people are thinking, because I really like this movie, and I think you will too. So that'll do it for me today. I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you haven't already, please remember to like this video, subscribe if you haven't. We are trying to reach 100 subs, and we're almost there. Until next time, I'll see you later.